The Group Practice Boss Conference tickets are on sale now. We expect them to sell out in just a couple days. There are only 120 of these available. Head on over to practiceofthepractice.com/conference to read more and grab your ticket. This is the Practice of the Practice podcast with Joe Sanok, session number 1129. Welcome to the Practice of the Practice podcast. I'm Joe Sanok, your host, and I am so excited that you are hanging out with me today. Today, we are giving you behind the scenes in regards to our membership communities. And so a lot of our consultants are doing teachings every single week. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have live teachings going on in our membership. So we wanted to give you a little behind the scenes. So we're going to be hearing from Nicole Ball, talking about what to do when referrals are slow, HR basics with Andrew, client retention with Ashley, scaling with Nicole Ball, choosing the right project management systems, and all sorts of other things over the coming weeks. I can't wait to dig into this with you. If you want help from one of our consultants, please head on over to practiceofthepractice.com/apply. I'll chat with you for 30 minutes to determine if one of our membership communities or consulting might be right for you. Now let's get started with this episode.
So before we kick off talking about all things admin, and Kate, was there anything we wanted to preface for the meeting today at all for them to be aware of, or kind of what your support looks like here?
So after this meeting, we're starting 30-minute discussion groups. So it's a new feature we're adding. So after this meeting, you're welcome to stay on for 30 minutes and just kind of chat about, similar to the small groups, but just kind of a way to connect and network and chat about, any of these topics or anything else. So just a way to connect with your fellow therapists. So just a way to just have an extra opportunity to check in. And I know I've seen a few of you, so it's good to see you again. And you're welcome to stay on after. And we'll be doing this once a month. So for this meeting every month, we'll be having 30 minutes after.
Wonderful. I love that. Such great added value for this community. Thanks, Kate. Okay, so like I always like to do before we kick off today, talking about all essential aspects of the admin part of our business, let's quickly share a recent win in your business, something that you're going through right now, something exciting that's happening, maybe a new project. Pop it in the chat so that we can celebrate that with you. We can bring life to experience. And if you, I think on the right bottom corner, there's that little chat image thing. Click that so that you aren't missing anything in the chat as well. Brent, bringing on a new clinician in a couple weeks. If all goes according to plan, fingers crossed. Yay. So exciting, Brent. And I know there's probably some repetition of things that you're sharing as we do connect so often, but there's nothing wrong with that. Christina, my clinician is almost full and is doing really well with her current clients. Yay, Christina. That's amazing. Honestly, when you find the right people who are excellent at selling themselves and they're confident in their skill set and they know how to retain clients, I mean, honestly, that is like 90% of the job. And it's so easy from there. So that is really exciting. Sabrina, 18 referrals in July with a 2 out of 3 conversion rate. Amazing. That is awesome, Sabrina. So good. And way to track your numbers. Really, really important, especially as you're growing and if you're planning to scale up. These are very critical for our business in taking those next steps of growth and knowing when to hire next and when to get an admin person or kind of wherever you're at in the process. So exciting. Thank you for sharing. We'll just get it another minute here, see if anyone else is going to be joining us and give you an opportunity to share in the chat as well. What is a good conversion rate for a new client? Honestly, I hear like 50% would be ideal. If, say, we're on a phone call with a client or our admin person is on the phone, we'd love to see around a 50%. You're more likely to see around a 30% though, unless it's you. Right? It's very different. If you are taking all the calls in your business, which most of us are doing that process in the beginning, you're probably going to convert most of them because it's your business. You know it inside and out. You're very confident in your skills. When you hire an admin person, you're probably looking for between 30 and 50%.
I've been tracking it since January, and we've had anywhere from 39% to 68%.
Amazing.
A month. Yeah.
That's really great. Yeah, really, really great. And there's all sorts of factors, right? So it's not this perfect science. We have to consider all the factors when clients are coming to work with us. Are they ready to work with us? Can they afford to work with us? Did they see the value in working with us? Right? Are they ready? Like all of these things. So we want to take that into consideration. So that's really great. Barbara, do you have a template to track your conversions? Brent, do you have something, a tool that you're using?
I am currently just using a Google Sheet that my admin is plugging everyone in, and it just has like a drop-down menu of yes and no, and I even track like the wait time between their phone call and the intake appointment. But I'm actually just invested in a CRM that will hopefully track that even better. I'm just waiting to get it all set up and go.
Awesome. What CRM program are you using?
Just signed up with TheraSAS.
Okay, so a couple people. So Andrew's using that. We were just talking about this last week, and someone else is thinking about that. Yeah, let us know how that goes. And if you wouldn't mind, Brent, I'm totally putting you on the spot here. Would you mind sharing a blank template of your Google Sheet with Circle? That would be great because that could be really valuable. I mean, at least at this point in the game, we don't need to invest in all the systems, right? If we can save overhead and keep it simple for now, having something like that Google Sheet's great. We have a conversion Excel as well, Barbara, that we used to use, and I will pop that in the Circle meeting and add it as a part of the event. So in case anyone wanted to look at that, and it's just for phone calls. Okay. Or no, we did phone and email. Yes. Okay, awesome. Well, and that's great because this is really on par with our conversation today about admin tips and tools for efficiency, accountability, looking at the different areas of focus for your admin person, really fleshing those out. If you don't have someone right now, remind me, who has an admin person in their business right now? Just with your hand up. Okay. Christina, I don't, okay. Oh, hi, Karen. So nice to see your little image. It'd be nice to see your face. I miss you. It's been a long time since we've connected. Okay. Squirrel. That was my little squirrel moment there. Okay. And then Sabrina, you do not have an admin person right now. Okay. Who else does not? Michelle, do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And Brent?
I have one.
Okay. Great. So we're kind of like, okay, how can we make the role more efficient for those who do have one and or planning and even hiring again? So we're going to be talking about all of that. Oh, and Karen just signed up with TheraSAS too. So great. I'm curious to learn more from everyone as you step into that new system. Okay, just preparing my window here for sharing. So as you know, I cannot see you. So if you do have a question while I'm going through these first couple of slides, please just interrupt me, okay? And then I do have a question coming up on the fourth slide so that we can have a bit of a discussion here. So I thought it would be really valuable to start with what are the actual areas of focus for your admin person, whether you've already hired them or you are looking to hire or you're looking to expand your admin team. And I took these, when I started to develop this webinar today, it was based on those questions that came up when I had posted about this probably a month or so ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago, looking for where some of the questions that people have in their business. And so that's how I came to develop the webinar today. So firstly, I think the most obvious area of focus for our admin person is around the client-facing tasks. So what does this all include? This is clients, right? If they're sitting in the office, which honestly is really ideal in our private practices. I know it's not always convenient if we have a virtual assistant or maybe we don't have the space, but ideally we want to grow to a level where we can have someone present in the office so they can greet them, have that smiling, warm, welcoming face, offer them a coffee, tea, or water. Maybe you have little snacks, making sure that they feel comfortable before they meet with their therapist. Booking, canceling, rescheduling appointments, responding to calls and emails, matching clients and therapists. That's a really important part of their job, is really getting to know your therapist. So we have a cheat sheet, we call it. And it's a therapist cheat sheet that has columns on Excel that says what location they work out of, what population they serve, what like age group they serve, if they're accepting new clients or not, what insurance they're billable under, what their designation is. So it leaves nothing to the imagination. It's like, here it is. When you have a large team, your admin people aren't going to memorize that off the beginning, like from the very beginning. So they're going to have to get to know the team. We also have a hard no bookings, right? So these are the people they're not willing to work with for whatever reason. We have their specialty areas so that everything is broken down so they can match them appropriately. So that's a really important role that our admin plays. Filling cancellations. Something we have our admin do is look through Jane through the week, look at who has a wait list, right? There's that wait list option. We look at filling those appointments with either return clients or new clients or waitlisted clients. We also have them track referrals as well, and client retention tasks. So following up on those emails and calls that have come through that haven't converted. We do that for anyone that sent an email to us. We have a tracker. So we send out, we include what the response date was, and we follow up in a week's time if we don't hear back. And our conversion rate at that point has been over 60%. So just following up with those initial emails has really impacted intakes. We also do the same for first visit cancellations that happen in Jane as well. So we want to get those people back in the schedule. So that is going to take up a lot of time for our admin person, is those client-facing tasks. Then we have file management as well. So this is ensuring intake forms are sent out, they're up to date. Again, you will have to determine where the responsibility falls. Is it more on the therapist to do this? Is it your admin person? Is it both? We have our admin people ensure those forms are sent out. We have them do one reminder at the kind of initial appointment date, and then the rest falls on the therapist to ensure that that's completed. We also have them make sure credit cards are not expired, since we don't call it this in Canada, but it's a copay. So insurance often covers, say, maybe 60% of the session or so, and then we bill the rest on the credit card. So it's really important those credit cards are up to date. And also we have like a little note section. We call it our admin notes, as those little starred notes in Jane on the side of a file that are always up to date regarding late cancellations, no-shows, anything important for a therapist or our billing team to know. We ensure the admin person keeps those up to date. Then billing. So your admin person may also do your billing, or you might have a separate billing specialist. We have a separate billing specialist. We decided to separate those roles a couple years ago. It's very efficient and cost effective for us to do that. And now there's less mistakes and things being forgotten. So it really is up to you, but you can absolutely have your admin person do your billing as well. So for us, that would be collecting credit cards, taking payments, submitting invoices to insurance, and following up. So following up with those insurance companies, third parties, clients, maybe where there's been a later non-payment, maybe a credit card's expired, whatever the case, we have policies and procedures for all of that so that we can stay up to date on our accounts receivable. We want to ensure that payment is collected in a timely manner, and sometimes with insurance, it takes a while. So we just make sure we track that regularly, and I stay on top of that because we have a monthly meeting with our admin team where they provide me with all that information. How are we doing with our accounts receivable? Why is this outstanding? What are we doing about this to make sure we collect that payment? Any questions about these 3 areas of focus? Then we have community-focused tasks. So this is where, if there is time permitting, they can support you in nurturing community relationships. It could be allied professionals. It could be with nonprofit organizations that you want to partner with or that you support. It's really kind of whatever you want that to be and how you want that to look. Posting on your social media, they can also support you with that, right? Creating content, whether it's, drafting beautiful images in Canva, maybe writing some copy using an AI tool to help with that. ChatGPT is amazing for supporting content, creation. They might engage with other social media accounts, which is really great as well. So liking and commenting on other people's posts, especially those where you're aligned. Responding to DMs in social media. They could also support with newsletter and blog support. So again, they can, with ChatGPT or an AI tool, they can also develop things like a monthly newsletter that goes out to your clients every month and blog. And then you could vet that, right? You could be the last eyes on it to quickly take 10 minutes to edit, but you're not going to invest your time on something like a newsletter or blog that doesn't have that high return on investment for your time, right? So this is where we could really use our admin person well. They can also attend community events with you or even by themselves or some of your teammates, like running a booth at a mental health event, as an example, right? Just being a presence in the community. And then lastly here is the operations side. They can also support you with, like managing schedules and shifts with a therapist and vacation time, in-person booking schedule. So making sure there's no overlap or double booking of offices and making sure the offices are full, looking at where they can fill gaps for your hiring. They can support you in that. Smooth phone and email communication. So looking at ways to improve processes with phone. Maybe it's coming up with a phone script or how to handle certain situations. And then also we have drafts in our emails. So they just copy and paste. So they're not constantly rewriting the same things over and over. They just find a draft that applies, cut, paste, boom. It just makes their job more efficient. Also, therapist and client support. So any support a therapist might need. And clients as well. So there's a lot of moving parts in this role. Other things they can support you with: office maintenance, like cleaning and supplies, creating and adapting standard operating procedures on an ongoing basis. So as things come up, or maybe there's some frequently asked questions, they can also help to create or adapt and edit current operating procedures in your business. And communicating with owner, completing monthly reporting for the business. So we have our person just do a monthly tracker on intakes, arrivals, referrals, and just some other questions I have about how things are going on the client facing part of the business, and any concerns, questions. I'm always checking in with them to see what's going on, how they're doing, what they might need, and kind of just preparing for busier seasons and slower seasons. So my question is, what areas of focus in your admin role do you need more clarity? So I'm going to stop share, and maybe there's some questions that have come up, or maybe you have other ideas you'd like to contribute to the group. When you look at those different areas of focus in your business, client, community, operations, file management, billing, that kind of thing, is there any support that you're looking for today?
One thing that I keep going to is, are there ways that I can streamline or automate some of the things that my admin is doing? That way I can take some of that stuff off of her and put more things on her that I don't like doing.
So what are the things that are bogging your admin down right now, would you say, Brent? That where you're like, hey, this is where we could kind of clean this process up a bit.
So her biggest, I guess, time suck right now is really just interacting with clients and getting them scheduled on the front end. Because once we have clients in, therapists maintain their own schedules. Mm-hmm. So it's just really calling people back if we missed a phone call and have a voicemail, or emailing, just really that initial scheduling piece. I'm hoping that, once I get my CRM up and going, that can help with that some. But I would like for her to do more like insurance-based things, like verifying insurance and things like that.
Okay. So a couple of things I would love to hear from the group as well. So a couple of things that we've done, Brent, that have helped is, do you have your online booking enabled for your Okay, perfect.
But she calls them to get a credit card on file.
Okay. So so what we have like an autoresponder in our email that says, like, if, here's our administrative hours, blah, blah, we could call you back, or you could go and book online right now. So we could also help make that process more efficient that way, that they click the link and book online and skip the admin person right away. We also have that in our voicemail. So sorry we missed you. If you're looking to book, you can book online at blah, blah, blah. And they could go and do that directly. But I think a natural part of the role is going to involve, right, that client-facing stuff. So the emails and the phone calls. Ideally, we don't want to miss calls, but if we're taking calls, it's hard, right? If you've got multiple calls coming in, that could maybe help with that process a little bit. Just encouraging them to book online instead of going like the traditional way. Does anyone else have any ideas about that? I think that's why we hired them for that role. So I would say though, if there are certain steps that she's finding take a long time, that's what I'd want to dig into is what is the current process and where is the time suck? Is it when she gets on the phone with them, they open up and tell her their life story, like what's going on, that it's kind of taking that extra time to make that call, collect the credit card or whatever it is. Do you know more, Brent? Have you kind of dug into it?
I'll have to dive in a little bit more. She said one thing that also a time suck is we have a system where she like basically puts everyone in on a calendar. That way they get automated text messages. That way, because our EHR charges so much per text message, and I don't want them to have to pay for that. So she said that's lengthy, but she kind of has it down to a process too. But it still takes about an hour or more to get everybody plugged in for 3 clinicians.
Okay. So yeah, I would just dig in a bit more and just see like where you might clean up some of those processes. But I mean, it sounds like you've got a pretty good handle on that already. It's great that you're already aware of this and just want to make this more efficient.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, if anyone has any insights or ideas, pop it in the chat, share with the group. It's great to learn from each other as well. Anyone else have anything coming up in terms of just areas of focus or not really sure about certain aspects of the role? There's more to the PowerPoint, so we will keep going, but just wanted to give you an opportunity right now. And hello, Michelle. Thanks for joining us today.
I do have a question. So, I think my admin spends a lot of time. I mean, she works from home, but she, put it on her timesheet that she works 30 hours every week. I mean, I could have somebody in the office for that amount of hours, but anyways, is there any way that I can support her on better manage hours, or what is the average to, virtual office manager? I mean, she does insurance based and she does billing and answering phones, but I still feel like it's a lot, and I'm trying to figure out if there's, an average, or if I should better support her, how to better manage her hours and how to do that.
So I would say every person's going to work at a different speed, right? Like you're probably going to be the fastest person in your business at doing these things, and some people work slower. And if she knows that she can bill 30 hours, she's going to take 30 hours to do her job, right? So you're going to take 30 seconds to reply to an email, and it's going to take her 2 or 5 minutes. So it really does come down to accountability. That is the only thing that I do not like about people working remotely is there's no accountability. So one system you could implement, Barbara, which I had done with a previous employee, is using a free app like Clockify. And that tracks their hours. It tracks every minute they're working and exactly what they're doing. You can create labels for different tasks to make it very easy. So yeah, that's what I would do. I would start the accountability with tracking hours. That's Clockify's one app, and I do actually have that in this PowerPoint.
Okay, perfect.
And then you will know exactly. So there's no pulling the wool over your eyes, and not saying they're being dishonest. Just saying it's accountability to the role. And then you can look at it and assess it and say, oh, that's interesting. Like when I do this, it generally only takes me 30 minutes a week, but it says that you've been doing this for 3 hours a week. Okay, we're going to cut that back, or I'm no longer going to require you to do this task or that task.
Okay, perfect. Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Brent also added to the chat, if it helps to give an idea, my admin who is virtual works roughly 45-ish hours per month. So I don't know. I'm very bad at math, so I'm 45 divided by 4. Oh, so that's about 11 hours a week. And again, it also depends on the size of your practice and how busy you are, right? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Keep the questions and the chat going. I'm just going to pull up my PowerPoint again here.
As a therapist, I can tell you from experience that having the right EHR is an absolute lifeline. I recommend using Therapy Notes. They make billing, scheduling, note-taking, telehealth, and e-prescribe incredibly easy. Best of all, they offer live telephone support. It's available 7 days a week. You don't have to take my word for it. Do your own research and see for yourself. Therapy Notes is the #1 highest rated EHR system available today, with a 4.9 out of 5 stars on trustpilot.com and on Google. All you have to do is click the link below or type promo code Joe on their website over at therapynotes.com and receive a special 2-month trial absolutely free. Again, that's therapynotes.com and use promo code Joe on the website. If you're coming from another EHR, Therapy Notes will also import your demographic data quick and easy at no cost, so you can get started right away. Trust me, don't waste any more of your time and try Therapy Notes. Just use promo code Joe at checkout.
All right, moving on. Training your admin for success. Some of you already have admin. That's wonderful. So here's a way to improve the process or prepare for hiring. Create a bucket list of every admin task you've done or your current admin is doing. That will become the living document for their role. Then you can split it up if you want into areas of focus to get really clear on every little task they do. This also helps clarify their role. They're not just intuitively going to know what to do unless they have years of experience working in a therapy practice, but then you're probably looking at more of an office manager sort of role. But if they're new to the field and the practice, it falls on you to make sure you're very clear on what their expectations are. Create an onboarding checklist as you go so you can rinse and repeat when you hire, and then you adapt this onboarding checklist. So the onboarding checklist is going to be every single step you take from posting that job posting to the interview to the hiring and every step as you onboard them. Create a workflow. Was there a question or a comment? Okay. Create a workflow in a project management app. I just did a webinar on this on Trello. We love Trello. It's free. This is how we've created a workflow for our admin team. We break it down into daily, weekly, monthly tasks. We have particular days of the week where they do certain things. So nothing can be missed. It's so obvious and everything right there that there's the accountability falls on them if they're not doing their job because it is broken down so clearly. I know I have shared this with you all before, but I am just going to show you again very quickly on my Trello board so you can see what this actually looks like for the admin person.
And it says that you made a video about it as well, or a webinar
We have
about it?
Oh, yes, in Circle. And was this for group practice, boss?
What is it called? The webinar that you did about this?
It was the Trello, but now I'm thinking I don't know what membership what if it was.
It was in this one. It's from July 30th.
Yeah. Thank you. It was last week.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was all on Trello. So this is what our admin board looks like. So simple to create this. So we have, and this is how we do new intakes, what every piece of information we need from beginning to end, what to do with particular email requests, ongoing tasks throughout the day that they can just quickly jump to, daily tasks. So this is when they come into the office to closing up the office. Okay. Weekly and bi-weekly tasks. We have certain days of the week that they do things. Again, we just kept it very simple, stupid here. And then monthly tasks. So this is one thing that they open right away at the beginning of their day as a reminder of what is required of them. We were dealing with some office issue today, like ceiling tile thing. And there's an office, one of the property manager guys called me, gave me his number. He's like, now you have my contact. So I just reached out to one of our admin. I said, add this info to the Capilano office maintenance. Here's his name and his phone number. Put it in there right now. So this way, when the next thing happens, they don't have to come to me and say, who do I call? Or what do we do? Or what's that number again? So we just make everything so efficient in that admin board. So that's the only place they have to look. We direct links to certain documents in there as well to make it efficient for them. So that's
so instead of creating Google Docs, you just put everything on Trello.
And then for the standard operating procedures, those are all in Google Docs, but we link them in the Trello board for quick access. So their monthly reporting they have to do for me, we just have a link to the folder. So again, just what can we do to make things more efficient?
So you don't use Trello like to track if they're doing or where they are in the process of, I don't know, boarding a new clinician or things like this?
No, we have an onboarding checklist, like a Google Doc that we use for onboarding. And that's where we would track dates of completion.
Okay.
This is just more for their workflow and kind of clarity around what they're doing day to day as kind of like that bird's eye view, and to be able to quickly access things as they need to get through their day and their week.
And how do you know that they are getting their job done? Like, how do you know if they're completing the task on the due date that you put it on your Google Docs?
So they don't have due dates unless there's an ongoing project. So this is just their day-to-day role. Yeah.
Okay.
So later in this PowerPoint too, I'll show the ways that I hold them accountable and just certain little things that I do to make sure they're on track.
Oh, okay. So you're going to talk about it. Perfect. Thank you.
Yes. But at least this is the workflow. So they're not like, what do I do when I go into the office every morning? It's like, well, here it is. There's literally 20 steps in your day to get going. Yeah. So then we had the last one, which I already mentioned, track their time using something like Clockify to see how much time is being dedicated in various parts of the role so you can adapt, evolve as needed. Tips for admin accountability. So you can facilitate weekly check-ins with them. We have a little private WhatsApp message group. Some people use Google Chats, or I think that's what it's called. And there's different tools. We just use WhatsApp. So I will often just check in with them. How's it going? Do you need any support from me? They will also reach out to me if there's any issues or if they need support there. So that's an ongoing chat between us. I also review call logs on Ring Central, which I have access to. I think it provides a 60-day call log, so you can see if there's a lot of missed calls or calls being received, that kind of thing. So these are the ways that we can hold them accountable, as well as pop into our emails, our admin emails, to make sure they're being responded to in a very efficient manner. Implement Clockify, call the clinic, right? Just occasionally call the office, see if they're answering the phone, see how they answer the phone, review kind of that. You can review the call script with them, right? How are they managing with new intakes? You can also sit with them to review their workflow. So if they are virtual, you can share a screen with them to kind of monitor them in their role. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great for accountability. If they're at the clinic, you can sit with them and observe them when they're doing their job. You can also get feedback from your clinical team, right? They're going to be, hopefully, very honest with you about any struggles they're having with the admin person. And then review tracker spreadsheets that they're responsible for. So whether that's a conversion tracker, an intake tracker, ours again is that like follow-up email inquiry and first visit cancellations. And then we do our monthly meetings where they have a report that they have to fill out as well. So those are just some ideas around your admin accountability. And then lastly here, if you are looking to promote an office manager at some point, maybe it's a current admin person on your team, maybe it's going to be an external hire at some point. Here are just a couple of other ways that they can support you on top of those main areas of focus in the admin role. So this is the model we use with our leadership team, the RACI model. So R stands for, okay, what is that person responsible for? Okay, so those are their tasks. The A is who are they accountable to? And then C is who do they collaborate with? And I is who do they inform? So this, again, makes it very clear on their tasks, who they're accountable to. It's probably going to be you. Who do they collaborate with? It's probably going to be you. Maybe it's the clinicians. Maybe it's another admin person. And who do they inform, right, when things are happening? So probably you. But again, as your team grows, this is going to change and look a little bit different. So some things that an office manager might be responsible for is for your administrative team and office operations. So the day-to-day stuff. So a lot of the stuff that you're doing, you might have an office manager at some point doing that for you. Review daily billing and accounts receivable and accounts payable. Who do you owe money to? Who are you looking to collect money from? How are the billing processes going? Facilitate admin meetings with your admin team. Create standard operating procedures for your business. They might even create your welcome package. They might help with the employee handbook. They might help with some of those higher level tasks as well. Help with ongoing projects, planning and business goals. Review blogs, newsletters, social media posts, and website updates. They might vet all of those things for you. Train new admin and help with onboarding of new therapists. Review and edit admin clinical timesheets. They might help with invoicing, that kind of thing. And just overall support of clients and therapists. So my last question here is, what admin challenges are you facing in your business? We've got about 20 minutes left in our meeting today. So this is a great opportunity to explore. Maybe they're not even current issues. Maybe it's just kind of planning for future.
Hi, I'll share.
Sure. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, I've been trying to make your meetings, but this is usually session time and I had to reschedule. So I'm like, yay. I am in the process of, I have an admin now that I've given notice, and they have 2 more weeks with me. And then I found someone else that I think it's going to be a great fit. I hope, but she doesn't start until October 1st. So we have a long runway, and in between time, I'll be doing it. So I'll be able to look at my systems and tighten up. And I'm actually going to go back and watch your Trello. I popped in last week a little bit and I saw it and I was like, oh my God, this is so good. So I just want to get all of those things set up. I guess my question is, that slide that you just showed, office manager, I guess, what would be the difference between an office manager and, I don't know, I guess an admin assistant? I know if that makes sense. I guess maybe it's just how you term it, how you use it, or title.
Yeah, exactly. Really, you could hire your first admin as an office manager. It's just going to come down to, honestly, your pay.
Right.
And level of responsibility. So are they happy with are they supporting you in the bigger operations of your business, like projects and plans and, higher level kind of operational processes? Or is it more just the day-to-day focus of, okay, we support the basics of the therapist, the clients, and billing? So I think that's really where that shift happens is, do they have more responsibility and are they taking on more of that from you? Or are you assuming most of those bigger responsibilities?
Okay. Yeah. The idea is for her to take a lot off of what I'm doing now. So starting with, since there will be no one after my current admin leaves, answering the phones, but also prospecting and business development and marketing and creating SOPs and kind of, helping me to with my the other 3 therapists as part of my group practice as well too. So, okay, no, this is really good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. And I hope that everything just works out smoothly and efficiently for you.
It will. I need it right now. There's been a lot of change, a lot of movement.
Okay. Yeah, and we're here to support you. So if pop those questions in Circle. I get notifications for every question that comes up in Circle. So if we can, if even it's just that little bit of encouragement or just a small shift, definitely use the community. That's why we're all here. Anyone else? I'm just reading the current thread as well, if you're wondering what I'm doing
So
over here.
I don't have any challenges with my admin. I think I feel like very blessed with my admin. Because before I posted it online, I just was like, okay, like I'll see if anybody on Facebook wants to just return calls, how much an hour. And one of the people sent me her resume, and it was somebody I did my undergrad with family and human service degree. And so like she's knowledgeable about, mental health and all that stuff. And then also after college, she was a logistics coordinator for a major corporation. So she does, like, she's severely underpaid for like what she does for us. Like we want to pay her more, but it works out for her because she's virtual and she gets to flex her schedule and she loves helping people. But yeah, like every month she'll send us logistics for the business on like, here are all the phone calls that I got. Here's like, she has like a graph of like, here's who answered, who didn't, who's waitlisted. Here's who's scheduled. Like she has the percentages scheduled for all of it. So yeah, it's
amazing, Christina.
Really nice to have an admin that I can trust and that I can throw tasks on, and I don't have to worry about a lot of that stuff. It was the best decision to hire somebody for that role.
Amazing. And that's so encouraging for everyone else that you can, it can be so beneficial to your business, take a lot off your plate. And if you find the right fit, someone who's quick and efficient and you trust them, I mean, that's just gold, right? So that's awesome, Christina. So happy for you. And if you're not quite there, the rest of you or anyone who's watching this replay, that is absolutely possible for you too. I think from the very beginning, really trusting your intuition, allowing that to guide you in your decision making, going with your gut. If it doesn't feel right, it's not going to be right. You're going to have to deal with it in the long run. So trust yourself in these hiring processes for your admin person and your clinicians. Go with your gut. Anytime I have ignored my gut, it has always come to bite me in the butt. And it's like a higher cost later in your business. So always trust yourself.
Ashley, I'm curious to hear from you and others. Like, how did you decide what to pay the admin? If you're doing like some virtual assistant, I know it's like they might set that rate, but if you're doing a salaried position, just so that I can start planning for that, because I have the perfect person and she's just waiting for me to be able to bring her on.
So for us, I just looked at what was competitive in our market. I talked with other group practices, looked at what they were paying, went on Google, like Indeed or something. I can't remember where I looked, kind of look at what are similar positions offering. So for example, for our part-time admin, she's $19 an hour with no like benefits, nothing included. She's an employee, but she has nothing. Okay. That's it. Just her hourly wage. And then our full-time employee admin is $25 an hour. And she also has a health spending account and paid time off and sick time and things like that, which was $25 is very competitive in our market. So that's just what I did. Some people expected more, some people would take less, but I felt like that was a fair sort of compromise for what we were looking for. And she's wonderful. Both of them are just phenomenal women. So that's, and then our billing person who works from home, she's $25 an hour, contractor. Anyone else have ideas?
I'll share. Last year, I transitioned my folks from 1099 to W-2, which was huge for me. But I sat with my accountant and, it's really about your number. Everyone's number is different. But we sat down, we looked at my numbers. I'm in Los Angeles. So we looked, of course, what was going on around here. And also in California, you can't hire therapists as a 1099 anymore. Before, for the longest, that was the case. But once I started to change, we just had to look at everything. And so based on that, so changing the therapists, their rates, but also for my current, admins, in terms of what I pay them, we're able to look at that. And of course, because everyone's, W-2, it's, they have to have sick time. And so I guess it could depend on what state you're in as well, So that's kind of what guided me.
Thank you, Michelle. It's very helpful. I would see what other people are paying theirs, Sabrina. Do you know any other group practice owners in your area?
Yeah, and so most that are comparable in size to where we're currently at, everybody's doing their own admin stuff. And I know most people are like, I wish I would have hired an admin a lot sooner than I actually did.
Yeah.
But I do have a couple acquaintances, colleagues that have bigger practices that I can reach out to and just ask.
Yeah, exactly. And become friends with those people. Some of my best friends are those that own large group practices. And not only because we connect just on a friendship level, but I think because they understand the challenges of group practice that other people don't, including the people who work for you. So if you can even just say, hey, how do you do this? Or, hey, there's a friend of mine, she owns a massive multidisciplinary group practice. She's a co-owner of it. They do everything. And they're like, hey, we want to make sure that our SOPs are like up to date. Can we buy your SOPs from you? Can we like buy everything you do? So for like $3,000, I'm like, sure, like click send. And, and it's like, why not support each other? We're not competing in the same specialty area. We're friends. We both want each other to succeed. So there's lots of opportunity there as well. Just making connections with other group practice owners as allies.
So we pay our admin, I think it's $20 an hour, and she's $10.99, and it was set up like 5 to 10 hours a week. There's a chance for more, but we know like this is what we can afford for this time. And just having somebody, like, I am good at phone calls and like getting the clients on, and like, I'm good at that, but it's just so much emotional effort and exhaustion. And then like, you also, like, whenever you say the pay and then you get that rejection, like it was affecting me too much with all this stuff. And it's like, it was weighing me down too much because, you feel everything. So setting that off was definitely worth it for us to pay that much money for it. And it's freed me up to do other things that are actually like able to grow the practice. And so I can get more money, so I can do more. So it has been really helpful for sure.
Awesome, Christina. That's great. And yeah, if you can train and work with your admin person to address those objections when they happen around, that's too expensive, or I don't know if I'm ready, or I'm scared, or whatever, right? Again, so much of it is that the perception of value. What am I going to get out of this? And we really do have to train our admin people to be able to have those confident conversations about this is your life, right? This is your life. So I feel like that's a whole other webinar. Okay, thanks for coming, Barbara. Take care.
I just have to say, Ashley, the idea of buying someone else's SOPs and like all of that was like a revelation to me, because that is this task that looms large on my to-do list forever and ever and ever, that it just is like, ugh, I don't want to do it. I had never thought of just like, hey, can I pay you for this? What's your price? Like, let's negotiate. What a great, love it.
Yes, I'm so glad I shared that. Absolutely. And then you could just adapt, right? You just go through and you adapt for your business, but then you don't have to try and guess. I mean, if you've never done it, how do you know what the process is? Like, it could be a number of things, right? So that's great. I'm so happy to hear that, Milo. Anyone else today before we wrap up? We still got time. If you have any other just looming questions that you want to bring forward to the group, we are here, even if it's not admin related. Maybe there's something else that we can support you with.
So I posted it on Circle, but I'm having like a horrible time finding like candidates that aren't fully licensed. Like I can't find anybody. And then the ones that I do, like they're not the right fit. Like one of my questions on Indeed is like, after looking at a website, why do you want to work for my practice? And it's, they either leave it blank or they're just like, oh, this is what I do. I like working in rural areas. Okay, but like, why us though? Like, why like us specific? Like, there's not much effort that people put in their resumes or their application, and I'm kind of like, I guess I didn't realize it was going to be so hard, and I just didn't know if it was like this season that we're in of just being summer. But like, I'm not finding anybody. I'm finding good provisionally licensed counselors, but then they need supervision, and we can't bill insurance. So I have to spend more on marketing. So I'm just kind of figuring out. So I'm frustrated with the hiring process, not finding good candidates, and also starting to question, should I hire on provisionally licensed candidates just on a part-time basis to kind of fill that role? Because we're waitlisting a lot of people right now, and it's stressing me out.
Oh, sorry, Christina. I know I replied to your question and kind of just some ideas, but does anyone have any ideas about ways that you're finding like highly qualified therapists?
I was
Sabrina?
running that same issue, and I eventually just had to do provisionally licensed folks, and they're all full and mostly self-pay. There's a couple of insurance panels that will allow us to do supervisory billing with them. I think Cigna and Aetna are the two that will allow us to. But I've done just kind of like a reduced flat rate for them for self-pay, and they've gotten billed real quick.
I feel like we need to do like a full webinar on this, like finding and hiring great candidates for our businesses, because it does seem to be a theme of struggle. I know that's something that we've faced here as well. I feel like when you're looking for the fully licensed folks, their expectations are really high in terms of pay, expectation. They really want that autonomy. So I feel like there has to be something really special about what we can offer them. At least that's kind of what we've seen. And a lot of people are going into independent practice. Like people are just graduating and they're starting a private practice. It's like this new thing that's happening. Is that happening for where you are too? Yeah.
Big tech's not really helping that either when you have platforms like Headway and Grow and things like that. Yeah.
Yes, right. We're competing with those, even though they're making like $30 an hour, I think, or less. Things like BetterHelp and
I have seen also where, like, with if on Indeed, like if you're paying to sponsor your post, you can search through resumes. I have there's rarely ones that I found on there that are like decent. I think one or two people I maybe reached out to after looking through hundreds, like they're just not that great. But there's a lot of people who have enter their resume experience as like their own private practice. So I feel like a lot of people are jumping into it without preparing for it, and then they're trying to find something else too.
Well, because they just sort of sit and wait, and it's not quite that simple, right? We might make it look that simple, but it takes a lot of work to market yourself and have that continuous flow of clients. So I get it. I think we definitely can all relate in some way to this struggle. I also think it could be a season thing. I know summer is hard. People are off with their children and they're busy and they're not applying for jobs. So I would also give it a little bit of time as well, September, October, when things start to move again and kids are back in school, see how that goes. And I would like to talk to the other consultants as well about kind of what their approaches are. They think having a group practice boss webinar on this would be really valuable in the fall. We're just kind of put all of our heads together to create something.
A bonus to having someone that is provisionally licensed is that you get to train them up in whatever way you want to. So you really get to shape, that person at an early part in their career. So I know that I understand the challenges with insurance and self-pay, and I know you're in a pretty rural area, and that's a piece that's a big factor for you. So I can see the pros and cons to that piece.
Totally, Milo. I'm so with you on that. Like getting our interns to turn into therapists who work for us is an awesome funnel, but you still have those challenges. Yeah.
I'll second what Sabrina said. So I also have circulated at local universities, places like that. Recent graduates, would you pass this along to your alumni, your alums, things like that, colleagues.
Awesome. Thanks, Sabrina, for sharing that in the chat. So letting those folks that you know in the community, let them know what you're looking for and that you're hiring, and just building those networks. Okay. Well, thank you for your time today. Thanks for showing up and for your contributions. And I'm going to post that one Excel spreadsheet up in the Circle event, which will be the recording will go live in usually it takes like half an hour, less or so till everything's up if you want to take a look at that on the conversion. And then Brent, if you can share that document we talked about earlier in Circle, that would be awesome.
Do I just post it on there, or do I need to send it to you?
I'm just thinking what would be best. Maybe I'll post it on the event so it doesn't get lost in the Circle chat. So if you want to email that to me,
Okay.
that would be awesome. Ashley at practicethepractice.com. And then any other needs you have, make sure you use the Circle community. That's why we are here. And then Kate, anything from you before we say goodbye?
No, today was great. Thank you so much for everything you do. And anybody who would like to come over and chat, in the live event list, it's just the next one on the list. It should be right at the top now. So I'm just going to hop over to that room and I'll see anybody. Everybody's welcome. So I'll see anybody who wants to join.
Awesome. Okay, great. All right, everyone, you take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye.
Well, thank you so much for listening to the Practice of the Practice podcast today. These trainings are available in our membership communities. Now, we're going to be opening up our membership communities more than just when we're opening Level Up Week. So if there's one that you are interested in, I would love for you to head on over to practiceofthepractice.com/membership, where there's more details and you can get notifications when those open up. So if you are in solo practice, just getting going, if you are building and sustaining a sustainable solo practice, Next Level Practice is for you. If you are looking to launch a group practice launch is for you, and Group Practice Boss is for all those group practice bosses out there. You know, we also couldn't do this show without amazing sponsors like Therapy Notes. Therapy Notes is the best electronic health records out there. They will help you switch over from your current EHR. They also give you 2 months for free or just money off if you use promo code Joe at checkout. They are phenomenal. They help with automated billing. It's going to make it easier to outsource your billing. So many reasons to switch to Therapy Notes. Just head on over to therapynotes.com, read about it, and at checkout, just use promo code Joe. Thank you so much for letting me into your ears and into your brain. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Special thanks to the band Silence is Sexy for that intro music, and this podcast is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information in regard to the subject matter covered. It is given with the understanding that neither the host, the producers, the publishers, or guests are rendering legal, accounting, clinical, or other professional information. If you want a professional, you should find one.